The library that never slept. Once upon a time, in the bustling heart of a small American town called Maplewood, there stood an extraordinary library, unlike any other in the world. It was a grand old building with tall windows, a sparkling golden dome, and a clock that chimed melodiously every hour. What made this library so unique was a secret known only to its youngest visitors. The library never, ever slept. During the day, Maplewood Library was much like any other. Children came with their parents, teachers brought their classes, and grown-ups browsed through shelves for a good book. The air smelled of paper and adventure. But as the clock struck 8 and the last visitor left, something magical began to happen. Under the soft watch of the moon, the library's front doors gently locked, and the golden dome shimmered with a silvery light. The moment the town's last street lamp flickered off, the library's books began to stir. It started with the tiniest rustle, a whisper of pages flipping themselves open, a giggle from the fairy tale section, and a soft thud as the history books shuffled closer together, eager to share their tales. At the center of all this enchantment was a little girl named Ellie. Ellie was Maplewood's most devoted library visitor. She had read almost every picture book and chapter novel, and everyone knew she was the first to borrow the newest arrivals. But Ellie had a secret. She knew how to stay behind after closing, hidden in her favorite reading nook, to witness the library's nightly transformation. One evening, after her grandmother dropped her off for story hour, Ellie tucked herself between two giant encyclopedias and waited as the library emptied. When the clock struck 8, she crept out, heart pounding with excitement, and watched as the shelves began to glow softly in the moonlight. Suddenly, the library's old grandfather clock chimed 9 times, and with each chime, a new section of the library came to life. In the picture book corner, colourful characters danced out of their pages, dragons with rainbow scales, princesses with crowns of stars, and talking animals who wore tiny hats. In the science section, planets spun gently above the shelves, while rockets zoomed silently around them, leaving trails of glittering stardust. Ellie tiptoed past the biographies, where famous inventors and explorers gathered to discuss their greatest adventures. She paused at the poetry shelf, where words floated up like bubbles, forming rhymes in the air before gently popping and drifting down as sparkling dust. But the real magic was in the stories themselves. The library held more books than anyone could count, and each night a different book would be chosen to tell its story. The books called this the Storytime Dance. The chosen book would float off the shelf, hover in the air, and open its pages wide as characters leapt out to act out the tale. The other books and their characters cheered and clapped, eager for their turn in the nights to come. One night, the book chosen for the Storytime Dance was The Midnight Train to Dreamland. As the book opened, a shimmering train emerged, puffing clouds of glitter, its whistle as soft as a lullaby. Ellie watched in awe as passengers, friendly robots, sleepy kittens, and a brave astronaut climbed aboard. The train wound through the library, stopping at different shelves to pick up new friends. Ellie was invited aboard by a smiling conductor with a silver mustache and a ticket shaped like a star. She hopped on, feeling the train gently sway as it moved through the library aisles. Outside the windows she saw fantastical scenes: a desert of flying carpets, a sea of singing whales, a city made of candy canes. As the train journeyed on, Ellie made friends with the other passengers. There was Luna, a tiny moon fairy, who sprinkled dream dust to help people sleep, and Jasper, a talking fox who loved riddles. Together, they explored each train car, discovering secret passageways and hidden compartments filled with lost stories. At midnight, the train returned to the library's main hall. The characters waved goodbye, and the book gently closed, tucking everyone back into its pages. Ellie yawned, her mind swirling with new stories and adventures. But the night was not over yet. The library's wise old owl, Professor Hoot, fluttered down from his perch above the reference desk. He was the unofficial guardian of the library's nighttime magic. With his round spectacles and soft, feathery wings, Professor Hoot loved to share riddles and wisdom with visitors. "Ellie," he said in a voice as warm as a cozy blanket, "every story you read becomes part of you. And every night, when the library wakes, those stories come alive, not just in these halls but in your dreams and your heart." Ellie smiled, feeling the truth of his words. She realized that the library never really slept because stories never slept. They lived on in the minds of everyone who read them. Just then, Ellie heard a soft humming from the art books section. She followed the sound and discovered a group of crayons and paintbrushes waltzing across the pages, bringing illustrations to life. Landscapes bloomed with color, and animals pranced out of their drawings to join the celebration. In the corner, the cookbooks were having a feast. Pancakes flipped themselves, cupcakes danced in circles, and spaghetti twirled into perfect nests. The smell of cinnamon and chocolate filled the air, making Ellie's mouth water. As the night wore on, Ellie wandered through the library, collecting treasures. A bookmark shaped like a dragonfly, a poem written just for her, and a tiny jar of dream dust from Luna. She laughed with pirates, sang with mermaids, and even helped a lost ghost find its way back to a mystery novel. But as dawn approached and the sky began to lighten, the magic started to fade. The characters hurried back to their books, the planets returned to their shelves, and the library grew still once more. Professor Hoot guided Ellie back to her cozy reading nook and tucked her in with a soft wing. As the first rays of sunlight streamed through the tall windows, Ellie woke to find the library exactly as she had left it, silent, peaceful, and full of promise. She stretched, yawned, and smiled, knowing that she had been part of something truly wondrous. From that day on, Ellie visited the library every chance she got. She read new stories and dreamed of new adventures, always carrying a little bit of library magic with her. She shared her love of books with her friends and even started a secret club called the Night Readers, where children gathered to share stories and imagine what might happen when the library came alive at night. And so, the library that never slept continued to inspire and enchant, its stories weaving dreams for all who believed in magic. Every night, as the town of Maplewood slumbered, the library glowed softly under its golden dome, ready to welcome a new night of adventure. For in a place where stories never sleep, every night is a new beginning, and every book is the start of a wonderful journey. And that, dear listener, is the story of the library that never slept, a place where magic lives in every page, and where the best adventures are only a story away. But the magic of the library didn't end with Ellie. Soon, other children in Maplewood began to notice little hints that something special happened at night. Sometimes a bookmark would be found tucked into a book just where a child needed it most. Other times, a favourite storybook character would appear in a child's dream, sharing secret advice or inviting them on a nighttime quest. One rainy afternoon, Ellie's friend Sam came running up to her at school, his eyes wide with excitement. "Ellie, I found a golden feather in my library book. Do you think it belonged to Professor Hoot?" Ellie grinned and nodded, knowing the secret was spreading. Before long, Ellie and Sam decided to invite their friends to the Night Readers Club. They gathered in the children's section of Maplewood Library every Saturday morning, each child bringing their favourite book and sharing what they imagined happened in the library after dark. One week, a new girl named Mia joined the club. She was shy at first, but she loved drawing, and soon began sketching the magical things she imagined at night. A parade of dancing books, a castle made of dictionaries, and a garden where stories grew on trees like fruit. The Night Readers started a special project, a giant mural on the library's basement wall. With the librarians' help, they painted scenes from their favourite stories, adding new creatures and characters of their own invention. As the mural grew, so did the children's belief in the library's magic. One evening, after a long mural painting session, the Night Readers gathered in a circle and held hands. Ellie whispered, "Let's make a wish. Let's wish for the library's magic to last forever." The children closed their eyes and wished with all their hearts. That night, something remarkable happened. When the last librarian turned off the lights and locked the doors, the mural began to shimmer. The painted characters stretched and yawned, stepping down from the wall to join the nightly festivities. The mural had become a living part of the library's magic, a gateway for the children's dreams and stories. With every passing night, the library's magic grew stronger, fed by the children's imagination and love for stories. The storytime dance became even more spectacular, with new books and characters joining each time. Ellie, Sam, Mia, and the other night readers were always part of the adventure, sometimes as heroes, sometimes as helpers, and always as friends. One night, the library hosted a grand celebration, the festival of 1,000 stories. All the books glowed with rainbow colours, and the golden dome sparkled like a starry sky. Characters from every tale mingled and shared their adventures, and the children were honoured guests. At the heart of the festival, Professor Hoot made a special announcement. Tonight, we honour the night readers, whose love of stories keeps our library awake and alive. May your imaginations never tire, and may you always find magic in the pages of a book. The children cheered, and Ellie felt a warm glow in her heart. She knew that as long as someone believed in stories, the library would never truly sleep. And so, in the little town of Maplewood, the library remained a beacon of wonder. Its doors were always open to those who loved to read and dream. And every night, as the stars twinkled above, the library's magic continued, one story, one dream, and one child at a time. So remember, whenever you open a book and lose yourself in a story, you become part of the magic too. For in every library, in every town, in every corner of the world, stories are waiting to come alive. All you have to do is believe. And if you ever find yourself in Maplewood, look for the grand old building with the golden dome. If you listen very closely, you might just hear the gentle rustle of pages and the soft laughter of characters waiting for their next adventure. For in the library that never slept, the magic of stories is always awake, always welcoming, and always ready to take you on a journey beyond your wildest dreams. And that, dear friend, is the wonderful secret of the library that never slept. But the story doesn't end there, because every book holds a new adventure, and every reader brings a new kind of magic. So the next time you visit your own library, look around and wonder, what happens when the last light goes out and the doors are locked for the night? Maybe, just maybe, there's a little bit of Maplewood magic in your library too. So keep reading, keep dreaming, and remember, the library never really sleeps, and neither do the stories in your heart. And as the sun rises over Maplewood and the library's golden dome glows with the promise of a new day, the children of the town wake with smiles, ready to read, imagine, and share the magic that lives in the pages of every book. For in the world of stories, anything is possible, and the adventure never ends. And that is the tale of the library that never slept.